Yeah, it's kind of been a while since you saw me. The last time you seen me, I kind of made an oopsie on the original Pickguard. So I kind of had to order some new supply. So I ordered a new Pickguard material measuring at 11 inches by 19 inches by 0.09 inches, which is really thin, so we might not even have to bevel the edge. I also ordered 2 routing templates for the Pickguard specifically, one for a single coil pickup and one for a humbucker. I also ordered some screws and springs that I needed for the pickups themselves, and I ordered a 9.5 inch radius block that measures 8 inches across. This radius block will be useful for when I level the frets later on the neck, but we're not going to worry about that now. So for this video, I'm going to rectify the mistake that I originally made with the Pickguard. Let's get right to it. To start off, I used the carpet tape to mount the routing template onto the body. However, I did forget to hit record on the camera, so you missed the actual footage. Sorry. I used a flush trim bit on the hand router to copy the routes of the body over to the route template. This way, I have a concept of where to place the templates for the Pickguard cutouts for the neck and bridge pickups. This ensures the placements of the cuts a bit more. Here, I'll use the carpet tape again to mount the route template onto the back of the Pickguard template. I use drill bits on the pre-made holes to help line up the 2 templates, but anything similar such as nails or screws work just as well. Now we'll just use a number 2 pencil to trace the routes from the original body in plain graphite. This gives me a more exact idea of where the Pickguard will lay on the body in conjunction to the routes for the pickups, and in turn will help me decide where to route the pickup slots on the Pickguard. Now I'll line up the routing template where I need it and trace the outer shape to help align it. Another application of tape later, I aligned the template to the lines I've drawn, pressed down, and we are now set for routing. Now before we view the next part, I have to issue a safety warning. This next sequence was done in the least professional manner possible. Due to my lack of proper equipment, I was somewhat forced to improvise tools needed for this job. The router table I have now does not work with the plunge router I have, despite both of them being craftsman tools. They were given to me as gifts without the knowledge that they are incompatible. This is no one's fault in the long run, but this does create a huge inconvenience. Plus, there's the issue of not having the right size and style of bits that I need to properly route the way I would have if I were doing this for an actual customer. But since money is tight and I've already spent a good amount on materials and tools thus far, I've had to come up with an alternative. But be warned, this is not a recommended method. I beg of you, never repeat the measures I have taken in this video's next sequence. Yep, I bungee tied the router upside down on the router table. Trust me, this was a last resort. The bit used on the router was just too short to use as intended, so you will see me do a small bit of routing, then flip the template piece over to continue routing on the other side. This is due to me using a 3/4 inch thick piece of MDF with a presumably 3/4 inch long bit. There were issues with part of the wood not being shaved down, as much as leaving an incredibly thin and pesky flake of MDF left over. But since I had copied most of the template over to MDF, I could use the spots I routed to flush trim the excess left over. I also used a drill from time to time to take large chunks out to make it easier for the router to cut through such a large piece of MDF. This method is used more effectively at the start of routing the single coil spot. Now I'll route the single coil slot. It's also important to drill the necessary holes for the pickup screws while the template is still mounted to the MDF. It just makes all the less difficult than if you were to forget with the humbucker and have to realign the template to find the right spot for the holes. It was a long and worrisome day. The routes for the Pickguard are now on the MDF. Good show. Trimming the Pickguard to size was a different story. The hacksaw still proved to be the most useful for the job, but also included a little bit of drilling to help make it easier to cut down. Moment of truth once again. Since the bearings were in the right place so the template could lay underneath, I had a much easier and less dangerous time routing the Pickguard as before. But now, I had the confidence that I was making an accurate cut as well. And with that, the Pickguard is done. Almost. Yeah, we still have the slot for the 3-way selector switch to cut out, but I still have to wait to either get a proper tool for it or use what I have. I'm more than likely going to have to look up what the proper tool is for cutting such a slot. I'm really happy with how this turned out because I was really happy with how the other one turned out. I was just really upset with myself on how badly I messed up on it. As you can see, the pickup holes are in their right position, including the screws for where they're supposed to mount to the Pickguard. All the holes for the Pickguard to be mounted onto the body are drilled. In case you have noticed from a past video with the old Pickguard, the new Pickguard does not have a secret spot drilled into it to where I accidentally drilled the spot into the pickguard. Because the screw doesn't go there. Nothing goes there. Unfortunately, yes, it is gloss this time. Having a matte black versus a satin black pickguard is not that big of a deal to me, especially considering that I'd really like to see how glossy I can get the body. I don't need it to be specifically super glossy, and I'm not expecting much with the paint that I have, but it'd be interesting to see what happens. Until then, this is the Keplinger Custom Shop, signing out.